we've got the cure for your car.
AFFI is Middle Tennessee's premier choice for pest, wildlife, and moisture control. They specialize in those difficult and unique cases. You can reach them by phone at 615-300-2395. That's 615-300-2395. Or stop in at 200 Glenrose Lane in Smyrna.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
Listen to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. I'm going to have an interesting show tonight. I've had an interesting week, and I often think that as a Christian, the Lord puts me in some strange places sometimes. I think sometimes it's for a reason. And got one of my guests fixing to pull up here, Bob Patel, and I've got Dr. Raj. I'm going to try to say your last name. I'm going to chop it up. Is it Raj Salvislata?
No. Srivastava.
Srivastava. With the V as in
that's
Victor.
Like, there's no L. So it's V. So Srivastava.
Srivastava.
There you go. That's
all right,
very good,
all right.
actually.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
You were... You've been on with me, was it about a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were on, and you were my digital media professor at MTSU.
Social media marketing, yeah.
Really enjoyed your class.
Yeah.
And folks, a lot of folks, I mean, you may not, you're kind of humble, you're a pretty humble guy, but you're kind of a star in a way. A lot of folks know who you are. Why do people know who Dr. Raj is?
I think they mainly know me through TikTok,
Yeah.
So I'm one of the professors in the country that have a high, following. So I've got like 182,000 followers. So among professor, that's like only one or two more.
You got 182,000.
Yes.
How many?
182,000.
I'm trying not to get you in trouble. How many does President of MTSU have, you think?
Pretty good, I think, though, I mean, were you trying to get me fired or
No,
something?
I'm not
I'm just trying to be, I'm trying to keep my job.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think, to be honest, because I bring you up when I'm meeting with them every year. I've been bringing you up, and they give me this strange look. And I've told the administration, we got to meet the students where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a poll in class, and I asked the students, I said, how many of y'all watch Channel 2, 4, 5, 17? And Jeremy, our trusted intern, how many kids you think raised their hands?
Oof, that's a good question, Mike.
Zero. None.
Yeah.
None. I was asking where they get their news at. You remember what that one little student said?
Mm-hmm.
She said, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Exactly.
I was like, SpongeBob SquarePants, what are you talking about? These are, I mean, I'm not putting the kids down, the students down, but these are our young people.
Yeah.
And why would they get their news off SpongeBob SquarePants? It's just the craziest stuff. Why is that?
The reason is because it's not they get through the through the show. It is through a person who is impersonating and telling them the news.
Yes.
So the idea of that somebody just telling you the news is gone. The news has to be entertaining. It has to be your attention grabbing. It has to be in the form, in the language, in the method that young people like.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're going to just not watch you. I mean, that's what is happening. No one is watching CBS.
Well, the attention
NBC.
span, too, is something we talked about. The attention span of students today or young people today is that of a goldfish. Why is that?
Because slowly, if you look at it, the attention span of people 50 years ago was much higher than 30 years ago, much higher than 20 years ago, then 10, 5, 2. It is gradually going down.
Yeah.
And in the world of social media, now you're looking at in seconds, like literally in seconds. If you don't get their attention in first 5 seconds, you have lost them.
Yes.
And that's what is reality of the world. That's why people are not interested.
Well, which is the most popular video that you have? Because it's on TikTok.
It's out there in public. The most popular video I've had it is the one where I'm catching somebody cheating and I'm taking their exam away. It has 7.7 million.
7.7 million views
and 1.5 million likes.
Wow.
That's more than all the news station in Nashville they do in a month.
And how much is it? And how much is this costing the taxpayers?
Zero.
For that kind of marketing.
Absolutely zero. And which is what I keep telling everybody, that it is not costly. It is something that you need to do regularly, consistently, and understand what you're doing rather than just.
So it's the one where you kind of like explain the video.
And the video is where I'm standing and I see a student cheating. I go up there, wave the finger at that person, and you're
waving your finger.
Waving my finger, taking the exam away. I'm turning, and it's a special effect that is used where you can see half my body turning and moving in a funny way.
Yeah.
Again, you have to grab their attention, and this grabs their attention.
How y'all doing? You want? I got some other guests coming. You want to jump in there with us? Do you know Dr. Raj?
Yeah, I think we.
Raj Bob.
And I think Raj Agrawal is a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very close friend of mine.
Well, let me ask you this: is the hand motion, the finger like that?
Yeah.
Is that just? I mean, where do you come up with that? Is that just natural, or is something?
No. It is again used as one of the. In TikTok. So it is in the TikTok. I used one of their features, and I did that, and this just happens to be that way, I mean,
it's fun. I mean, you're, and I say it with all due respect, you're a funny guy. I mean, you really are a funny guy, and that's what keeps the students interested. At least it was for me.
Yeah, because you have to get somebody's attention before they listen to you.
Yeah.
If you think I'm going to just speak and people listen because I'm saying, those days are gone.
Yeah.
Those days are gone when you say something, now people have to listen to you, like you, get interested in you, then they're going to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
We are not, young people, you have to get their attention in first 5 seconds. They are not waiting 30 minutes to get your, they're gone by then, and we just don't. Many people are not understanding, and that's why the podcast people are doing better than radio stations.
I just wrote an article yesterday. It's at my TennesseeLedger.com, and I was talking about the distrust in the media today. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's probably at a record low of distrust. I mean, were the days of Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America was Walter Cronkite. And I remember Walter Cronkite when I was a kid.
I've heard about that, and those were the days when people used to listen. Now those days are gone. No one listens to that because young people are listening from the people who are like them.
Yeah.
So a 18-year-old is listening to another 20-year-old telling him how the thing is, rather than an 80-year-old telling them. That's the reality of the world right now, know. And guess who are in the control, who are much older, and they don't understand how young people are approaching.
Who is the most popular? Is it Joe Rogan got beat by some young lady, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A few months ago.
Joe Rogan has a specific group of people who listen to him. Very popular, extremely good, His is a talk show format where you have a 1 hour of 1.5 hour of somebody talking, Now, if you want that kind, you have, he's getting young people, not very young people.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
when you say young, what's young to you?
From Joe Rogan's point of view, they're in their 20s and 30s or higher.
Very young, you're talking about under 25.
Under 25, they're not listening to. They're listening to more the Mr. Beast of the world. The people on TikTok who are like 24-year-old girls, 18-year-old, and some 60-year-old professors. So.
Yeah. Well, you're an engineer by your background, right?
Yes.
Well, that's interesting.
Like all Indians, we all do engineering, right?
So most engineers, but 50% of Indian heritage that are college educated are engineers. Would you think?
In this country,
About
the people who
50%?
come to this country could be true. Between the 3 or 4 business, engineering, medicine, and IT, these 4 will have 95% of the people.
Yes. And
95.
any y'all welcome to jump in. I invited Bob Patel at Bandish Patel, and introduce your.
My cousin brother Mihir Patel.
How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. No, what's your background?
Computer science.
Computer science
And economics. Yeah.
economics, Bob.
Business.
Yeah. Well, I thought Roshan was going to come up with
these
me.
are rich business. They're not businessmen. They're rich businessmen.
Well, so there's some of the. I wish Roshan kind of came up with me. Do you know Roshan Bhakta?
But he's on the Baskin Robbins in Murfreesboro.
Oh,
He
okay.
owns a couple of basketball. Man, that this guy needs to go. He needs to go to Zany's. Go on tour. He's a funny guy, and but his background, I think, was it economics? Economics. Yeah. Well, there's some comedians we were talking about, Indian comedians that to me are just hilarious, and I can't think of there's like 3 top Indian comedians. You know who they are?
In this country or in
Yeah, in
general?
this country.
In this country.
I wish I can't think of.
I mean, there is a guy by name Zakir Khan. He's Indian from India. He just sold out Madison Square Garden. What 40,000 people?
Really?
Where he doesn't speak a word of English. So you can imagine how popular he is, like crazy.
Doesn't he speak
time.
English and he sold out?
He does English special on Prime, but these people are doing really good. They're funny, they're good, they have the young, and these are all in their 20s. All of them are in their 20s.
Yeah. Well, one thing I like
Excellent.
what you said, because I was just telling you before we went on the air. I had an interesting week. Bob invited me down to the temple, the Hindu temple in Atlanta, and John DeBerry, and there was a pull that mic up just a little bit. And there was John DeBerry came because you had a nice Senator Mark Pody had a proclamation, and Clark Boyd, and John read it off, and I was blown away. If folks hadn't been to this temple in Atlanta, I can't even. There's not even words to describe. Amazing doesn't fit.
Mike, let
The
me add you.
detail is so. It's so. It's off the charts with the marble carvings. I was so impressed.
Let me add you a little bit more information on this.
Mm-hmm.
There are 10 or 12 like this in the world.
Yeah.
Each
Houston,
one,
LA,
each one of them
New Jersey.
in Chicago, New Jersey. The one in New Jersey they just made $80 million.
Yeah.
They're sincere people. They are dedicated people. Look at how good the Murfreesboro one is. This is so good.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Very impressive, and they are very good. And I don't know about you. They get some really good food. I love their food.
Oh yeah, we ate there the other day. Yeah.
I love their food.
Yeah.
So anytime I go there, you want to make sure you eat there. Their snacks are so good,
Yeah.
So we love to buy the snack there. And excellent place.
Well,
excellent place.
I was given a box of treats.
Yes.
I guess, and
Indian
that's
sweets, correct, yes.
Do they do that with all guests that
Yes.
come through?
Yes.
Yeah. I was really impressed. Can you talk about the little hammer like chisels they brought out that date back? How old are those?
They do the carving with a hammer and like a small sheet like that.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
An interesting thing in this is, and I'm sure he'll back, many of those don't use a single nail. There are young people who actually volunteer. One of my students took a year off to go and volunteer in making of the temple in New Jersey.
Wow,
So these are actually,
really?
they're specialists, but the young people are so dedicated that they go and do this for they don't get paid. They're volunteer there.
You unless you've seen it, you can't.
It's impossible.
I can't even
yeah.
describe it.
Absolutely, it's so good.
You know,
it's
it's
so
really the little. Is it? What? How do you call it? It's like not a chandelier, but it was like it looks like to me a rose or something in the center of the dome.
On the dome, right?
You know, and the
carvings?
yeah, and the little thin because I think it was you, Bob, or somebody was telling me that the light is so thin, this marble, that the light shines through it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just. I was blown away.
Hey, listen, Mike. India is 3,500 years old. You know,
Yeah.
we are not like 150 years old. Where you don't know any.
249.
204. Excuse me. I have got things in my house that are older than that. But okay, no, let's not joke.
You know, the one thing I like in class because I went and audited another class of yours, and I was just kind of sitting there, and you talked about your what's it called, hookahs, your shoes. Is that what it's called?
Hookahs.
Hookahs.
Hookah is a completely different.
That's the bar. Okay.
That's a
Hookahs,
brand in
the
this
smoke. But anyways, I'm gonna brag on you. But what was funny, the beginning of class, you remember what you told the students about if you're studying marketing, you need to be an extrovert. Remember what you said?
Exactly. You
And
know, I mean,
what'd you say if you're an introvert and you can't talk to people? What do you remember telling them? You remember what you said?
well, so you get me in trouble by doing this every time, you know, because those people,
don't think Doc McPhee's
those
listening.
people are on the same floor as my office, you know. I tell them they need to go in accounting.
Yeah. He says if you can't talk to people, you need to leave. You need to go back to accounting.
Go and do your paperwork in the corner. No one will talk to you.
Engage with people. But there's a lot of truth to that.
I mean, it's true. I'm not
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
That's the fact. You know, marketing is more of a where you are dealing with client, your customers. You're talking to them. You're trying to sell something to them. You're trying to tell them how good your product is. I mean, talk to these people are master at these things. They have businesses, and business don't do well unless you make your customers happy, right?
Yeah.
You know? And these people can, talk to them. They can talk. They can.
Exactly.
They're really good at these.
Well, we had it was an awesome trip to Atlanta Tuesday, and with John DeBerry. You know, if folks don't know, John DeBerry is a special advisor to Governor Bill Lee, and the hospitality was off the charts. I mean, we talk about Southern hospitality. This is like deep South hospitality. It was so just off the charts, just so amazing. And then the temple over here, like I didn't know I was going to be a speaker in Atlanta. Okay, I mean I knew I probably was going to say a word or two, and we walk on stage, and there's how many people in the audience?
800 people.
800 people in the audience, and I'm on the stage with John DeBerry, and with is it Swami? How do you say his name?
Brahmvihari Swami. Puja Brahmvihari Swami.
Okay, and I was like, oh Jesus, help me, because I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? Because John had it easy. He had the proclamation.
Yes.
All he had to do was read the proclamation.
Right.
I had no notes. I had zero. And I just said a prayer. I was like, Lord Jesus, give me the words to say. And I thought it went okay, you know. And I almost quoted Gandhi, because I've often quoted to you. I quoted that, and I've shared this even with my pastor on the radio. I like this quote that Gandhi gave. That it makes you, as a Christian, it makes me think. Gandhi said, I like your Christ. He says, those Christians I have a hard time with because they're so unlike your Christ. And now I read a story, I don't know if this is true, that Gandhi was once in, I think it was in Africa?
South Africa.
He was going to go to visit a church.
Yes.
And the usher said it was for whites only. Was that true? Have you heard
That's
that?
true.
Yeah. This
Wow.
is 1910, 1905, around that time, or maybe 1890s when he was in South Africa. And that's where he saw this racism which was set in his mind. So when he came to India, and he said one day, and he saw something very similar, British is doing that, and that's why he said, okay, we need to get rid of them.
Wow. You know, but I'd studied it, but you think that, to me, if that usher would have said, welcome him in, you never know.
Oh, I mean,
Maybe he could have found Jesus, you know what I mean? Maybe he could have got saved, you know what I'm saying?
good he didn't, because he came to India and did
You know what I
something
mean?
good.
You know? Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Floyd, and I'm inviting you to join me at CR. That's Celebrate Recovery. We meet at Family Worship Center, 3045 Memorial Boulevard on Sunday at 6 p.m. We're a 12-step Christ-centered program that offers help for all the hurts, habits, and hang-ups that's causing you pain. The program works if you work it, and I'm proof. For other CR groups, go to celebraterecovery.com and click on the group finder. Hope to see you soon.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available at select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliates.
All right, we're back. Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks, talking a little bit about TikTok and I guess a little bit of the Indian culture. Bob had to head on, but I wanted to at this event we did Thursday. A lot of folks have seen that the new I can't pronounce it. The temple out here on can you pronounce it? Temple on 231.
It is the Swami Narayan Temple.
Swami Narayan.
Yeah, Swami Narayan Temple. So
Narayan.
this is a group in India has got like a bunch of states, right? In one of the state, which is Gujarat, there is a group of people who follow this, Swami Narayan, and they are the ones who donate money and all that.
Bob's part of BAPS.
Yeah. So BAPS is it's a BAPS, full form of, and then S is the Swami Narayan.
Okay. So do you say BAPS or you say BAPS?
You say BAPS.
Either one.
Yeah. I mean, now that's a common way of saying.
Well, I did the walkathon. They asked me to speak there, and it was Representative Susan Lynn, I believe, spoke at Charlie Daniels Park out there, and my assistant came. Well, former assistant Marvin, young African American, and Marvin's now in law school working for Office of the Courts, and he's the only African American in the entire crowd, and there was probably 4 or 5, but maybe 250 Indian folks there, and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I really didn't, and but I'll always kind of ask the Lord to give me words, and I looked at Marvin. I thought about what he said, what he told me years ago. I said, Marvin, what can we do to really, really help the African American community, And he said, you got to show up. You got to show up like that. And I thought that had so much truth to it and I was just saying, thank you for showing up, because I guess they do a walkathon to raise money for charity. But what was wild the other day at the temple on 231 Church Street, a lot of folks have seen it. The sheriff was there, and a lot of his staff came, and kudos to Sheriff Mike Fitzhugh and Chief Lowry and Keith Lowry and Kevin Hendrickson and others, Chris Clark and others would be, and the Mayor Joe Carr was there. But it was, I wouldn't expect, it was kind of the same scenario as Atlanta. It was a small event at the temple. Then went around, and man, I've seen these bagpipes. Man, I mean, it was like 20 bagpipers with drums and the bagpipes. The last time I'd heard bagpipes was when I played them when my mom was dying, literally. She was from Great Britain, so she was big fan of the bagpipes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't lose it, because I wasn't expecting all these bagpipers there.
Yeah, I mean, somebody must be liking the music, and that's why they must have requested.
And it was at least 400 or 500 folks in this giant tent, I guess temporary tent, and I had studied the word earlier, and I'm probably going to chop it up, so don't start laughing at me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste.
Yeah. Namaste. Yeah.
So
what did
Kamcho.
Yeah. Now, Kamcho means how are you?
Okay.
Which is spoken by the Patel, the people who are from that part of the country.
Yeah.
So it's a language. So India has got 12 official languages. Gujarati is one of the 12 languages. I happen to be from that part of this country, so I do speak Gujarati. So I do understand Kamcho. Kamcho means how are you? So this is a greeting when you meet Patels. I mean, not Patel, Gujaratis,
Yeah.
And Namaste is more national, so everybody does that.
Okay. I was asking I guess, like the leader of the temple on 231, what is he referred to as?
Swami.
Swami, okay.
Yeah. Swami is just another form of like the head of something,
Okay.
So this is Swami Narayan. So Swami means this person, Narayan is God. So that they follow this person, and they are non-violent, really good. They don't bother anybody, and very. If you have seen how nice they make,
Oh yeah,
it's
sweet
a good place
folks
to go and relax and all that,
Yeah. I met the daughter. She's a sharp young lady, Lisa Patel. I was hoping she would join us, and she came over and sat with me at the luncheon, and anyway, she liked what I had to say, and as I was talking about the similarities in faith, because there's service, compassion, helping your fellow man, which is the basics of the Christian faith, and I said, did y'all? Because I mispronounced a couple of the words, and I said, did y'all start laughing at me? She goes, no, we laugh with you, and I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, it is. If I try to pronounce Bolivian language, obviously I'll not be able to pronounce correctly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
namaste.
No, it's namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, and you put your hand like this. So
Okay.
that's how they greet people.
Yeah.
So like namaste. They'll do that.
Well, it's really interesting. One of the areas that I as a legislator, as a human being, I care about. We often talk about the fatherless rate. I think that's one of the biggest issues in our country, and it's hard to legislate. Fix those problems. I just happened to search. I just happened to search online the fatherless rate in India. Take a guess, Roger or Jeremy here. Take a guess what the fatherless rate is in India.
1%.
Nope. Take a guess.
5%.
0.6.
Oh,
0.6.
It is unheard of.
Six.
It's literally unheard of.
Wow. That's that. Well, what I was impressed with is the closeness of the community and helping one another.
Yeah, I mean, divorce rate is less than 5%.
Wow.
So, divorce rate of Indians in America is not that much.
Wow.
It's like 10%. So, I mean, like we have talked about, that's what keep the families together. That's what the kids do well. That's why Indians tend to do better in this country.
Yes. No, it's very, very impressive. Now, do they? But at the luncheon they had, because my understanding, this opened up to the public.
Yeah, it is
public
always
can come
open
in.
to the
Christians,
public. Anybody
whoever.
can go. Anybody.
Yeah.
All the temples from India, all the temples, the big one in Nashville, the one here, anybody can go. So if you want to come with me, we can go. There's nobody saying no.
I started thinking about this later because, we left out about 1:30 and we left from Baskin Robbins that Roshan owns, the one on Old Fort. And John was running a little late from fighting traffic in Nashville and got back about midnight. But you know what? I didn't see no armed guards there. I see no security.
Absolutely. There never any security.
Yeah.
I have never, in 30 years of living, been to an Indian and have seen an armed guard. Ever. Never.
Wow.
Like, I've never heard of, or never heard of any issue ever happening, or any fight or anything like that.
Well, they had some sheriff's deputies just direct traffic.
Okay,
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was about to say. The only time you see a police car is because they are supposed to have them for the traffic.
Yes.
You cannot have a function of a certain size and not have that.
Oh, it was a big.
So that's the only reason they'll be there. Otherwise,
it was huge.
I've never seen a guard ever.
But just, what I'm kind of impressed by, I don't really see this in a lot of our churches, sadly. And I'm not knocking down, Baptist faith or Church of Christ or Methodist by no means. But what was so impressive is just the volunteers that fed everybody. It's like, man, could you imagine trying to feed 500 people? And it wasn't like you're waiting in long lines. You just had folks that just were there and helping. It was very, very impressive.
See, this is the one in Murfreesboro is new, so I don't know the details yet. But the one in Nashville, every Sunday at 12 o'clock, anybody can go and have lunch there.
Wow.
Every Sunday, 12 o'clock, there is a group, and they are, slotted every some Sunday, where the lunch is free. So it does not matter. You don't have to tell them. You just show up there. And normal is like 500. On special days, it's like 800.
Well, the young lady was telling me about reaching, the young people, helping young people. And they had made tacos. And I just thought, this is interesting that, these Indian folks are, I guess it was the day before they made tacos and some other things. I just thought, man, this is really, it's pretty wild. It was, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it was kind of surreal fits, because I've never been to a huge temple that had carvings out of marble that was so detailed. I've seen the state capitol. I've been to D.C. and seen some impressive buildings. But until you've seen little carvings of statues and just roses out of marble with a chisel from like the 1600s.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom it. It's so impressive.
There are people in India where this skill is transferred through generations. And one thing that you see, one person may have spent hundreds of hours making that. And the quality is just like you saw, it's fantastic.
Well, one thing, I wish I had the guy's name. If Bob's listening, maybe he could text me the guy's name. There was two guys that toured us around, and with my Tennessee Ledger newspaper, I'm wanting to do like an Indian column or like a Kurdish column, and open it up to where they did do a column, and Bob had told him, he said, this is the guy that you sent the column to, and he was telling me that they were running out of people that were trained to do the carvings, the craftsmen, and even in India they were saying that they still had problems with drugs and alcohol with some of these young people, so they were training them, and it really turned their lives around in a way, and they become productive fathers, went back to school, but it's hard to. It was just so impressive to see this ornamental marble. Yeah. And then the pink, what do they call that? The pink marble, where is that from? That's not from Turkey, is it?
And some Italian. There are some Italian. Italians. And what they bring the one there, and then sometimes bring it here, sometimes they bring it in India. Sometimes they get people from India to come and work on those marbles, and they spend, hours, hundreds of hours to make this into a beautiful thing. And it's just crazy. And you have seen that in Atlanta is one of the good one there, they have built one in Abu Dhabi,
I'm glad
which
you
is a
said that.
Middle Eastern place. I mean, they're crazy. And it is as big or bigger than the one in
Well, he shared
Atlanta.
that with us. We were like backstage, about to go on stage, John DeBerry and I, the Swami in Atlanta, that visit Atlanta, he was talking about completing the Abu Dhabi temple in a Muslim country, which has never been done before, has it?
Never been done. The first time a non-Muslim, place of worship is set, and it gets thousands of visitors every day. I mean, it's crazy how popular it is, and how good it is. If you
Have you been to the one in New Jersey?
I have been to one. I went to one in New Jersey, Houston, and Chicago.
Yeah.
There is one in LA. There is one in San Francisco. Yeah, two of that I have not seen. But if you were to see, the New Jersey one is the latest one. Now, every one, like anything else.
But New Jersey, isn't it 20 times larger than the one in Atlanta?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The new ones are bigger, more. The New Jersey one cost about $80 million to make. Who are these people who are funding? Regular
I would
people
think
are donating.
It would cost way more than $18 million. It'd have to cost more.
80 million. 80.
80 or 18?
80.
80. Oh, okay.
It's 80 million you can. No,
Man.
it's 80 million.
80.
So imagine they have built about 18 or 19 of such all over the world. And they are so helpful to local people that they have had no problem with the local people. And like I said, the food is so good.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to go and eat there. They sell excellent food.
They had buttermilk. I've never drank buttermilk in my life. It was some kind of a buttermilk type.
Yeah, it's called chas. It's called chas, and it's a really healthy thing. And you put a buttermilk and a little bit of salt in that. It's just a little bit salty.
It was okay. I drank it. You like buttermilk, Roger?
It's pretty healthy, pretty good thing.
Oh, all of it was good.
Yeah.
Well, my father-in-law does that.
That's right.
But let's go back to TikTok for a little bit. Now, what's the status of TikTok now?
The status as of now, just Trump announced it like last week that he has found a buyer.
Wow.
Now,
but it's anonymous who the buyer is right now.
Right now they don't know he has not announced anything. Supposedly next week they're going to find out. Now, this is my personal opinion. I don't know the business side of it that much because you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see the ByteDance, that's the owner of TikTok, going to sell international. I don't think they're going to do that. Why would they want to do that?
Yeah.
US is their 6% of the viewers.
Okay.
So
just 6%.
Just 6%. But it is about 19 or 20% of the business side of it. So let's say ByteDance says, you know what, ban us. We are going to lose 6% of your viewers and we're going to lose 20% of our business, which they are saying we'll survive. Yeah, it will be not as profitable, but eventually we'll survive. Yeah. So what US is saying that, okay, we really don't care if you own it as long as the data of US consumers stay within US. That is the number one problem.
Well, how do you control that? I mean,
so what you do is the data that like I have 1,600 videos on my system.
How many?
1,600.
You have 1,600.
1,600.
Wow.
Now those 1,600 videos have to be somewhere. They can't be existing in air, right? So it has to be in some data, some hard drive where it is saved. So it's called a cloud drive,
Yeah.
So that cloud drive needs to be a physical drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? And so that they're saying that this data need to be within US. And that's what I think is going to happen. They will sell the US part of it where they will agree, okay, you can keep your data in this, maybe own 49% of the US business so that people have some say. I will be very surprised if ByteDance sells 100% of US business too.
So I know it was really, talk about spiritually, I think God puts me in some strange places, sometimes for a reason, because it's so
I think it's
odd.
always for a reason.
Well, for me to be a lawmaker, we just voted to ban TikTok, and I'm in a TikTok celebrities class. It was like, oh my gosh, it was odd. Let's take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back.
My wife and I enjoy going by Yard Sale Inc. We usually go to both locations, the one in Smyrna as well as the one in Murfreesboro. A lot of times on Saturday mornings we stop by, and their inventory changes weekly, so you never know what you're going to see, and it's mostly open box. The name fits it. It's exactly that. It's a yard sale. If you don't totally agree with the price, the staff is always friendly and nice and willing to work with you.
That's the Yard Sale store in Smyrna at 111 Enon Springs Road West, in Murfreesboro at 204 South Front Street, and online at bestdealintown.com. Mike and Felicia Sparks, owner of the Vanity Zone Salon, want to invite you to stop in for your next haircut or color. Their stylists Michelle, Tori, Tracy, Brandy, Sarah, and Gail offer the best creative cuts and color for all ages, for men and women. The Vanity Zone is located at 732 Nissan Drive in Smyrna, to the right of the Crystals Restaurant. To look and feel your best, visit the Vanity Zone Salon today. Call 615-355-1721 to book your next appointment.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Hey, I'm Floyd, and I'm inviting you to join me at CR. That's Celebrate Recovery. We meet at Family Worship Center, 3045 Memorial Boulevard, on Sunday at 6 p.m. We're a 12-step Christ-centered program that offers help for all the hurts, habits, and hang-ups that's causing you pain. The program works if you work it, and I'm proof. For other CR groups, go to CelebrateRecovery.com and click on the group finder. Hope to see you soon.
All right, folks, we're back. Conversation with Mike Sparks, host Mike Sparks. I'm talking a little bit of TikTok with my former professor, Dr. Raj, who's kind of a TikTok, what do you call it? Micro celebrity, micro influencer?
Influencer. Yeah.
Micro?
Macro.
I was going to say, I think it'd be macro.
Yeah, because I have 150,000. So if you have
50, how many again?
182,000.
182.
If you have more than 50,000 to 100, you are micro. From 100 and to about 150 plus, you become a macro.
Yeah, and we'll tell the history, because there was a nice article Sidelines did on you 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
okay.
That's when I was. I think I must have had like 25,000 followers, because that was the first time any from MTSU was getting like. So they did and that. Many people in my department didn't know that. That's how they found out, because I didn't tell anybody, like I'm.
And what about the people in accounting? They had no clue, right? They don't even talk to one another.
You are the one who get me in trouble with accounting. But on my own, I stay away from the trouble.
My oldest boy's a finance major. He's an accountant. He doesn't need to be in sales.
Yeah. So that's how everybody else got to know. Yeah. In fact, the lady whose office was like 2 offices, she came by and said, "I didn't know this." I said, you saw me making around.
What's the one video that to me it's funny, because I'll now our age group would like it, because it's a kid on the phone supposedly to his mom, and he's like, "I don't want that for supper," or something like that. That you had to derive that from a real life scenario, right?
That's right. I mean, this is what I observe. This is what I see people around, and that how some kids are like how they talk to their parents, which is like, oh my God, I have never seen anything like this.
You took a spoof. You kind of made a spoof of it.
It is that's what I do.
Who was your actor? Who was the young man that did it?
He was a student of MTSU who volunteered to help me, and
oh, cool.
And I mean,
what was his name? Sorry,
put me on. I'll come back to that, because I'm bad at names, and suddenly, and he was so good, and he would come every week to my office. We would make, and he was the one who was my cameraman. Initially, he was the one who would edit the videos because I didn't know how to do that, and he really helped me,
But it's one thing I liked about it is maybe other students would see that and think how ridiculous that is, and then think of improving their actions.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is, young people look at these things now, like this is what they watch, this is what they listen, this is what they spend their time on, so that's the whole idea, to make things like this,
I talk about strange coincidences, and have you ever studied Dr. Carl Jung, Dr. Carl Jung?
Yeah.
He was contemporary to Sigmund Freud.
Oh, okay.
But he talks about strange coincidences, what we call God wink moments. As a Christian, I call them God wink moments. Mm-hmm. He referred to as synchronicities.
Okay.
And I had called Bill Ketchrin, and Bill could vouch for this. And I'd called Bill about a year. It was, I guess about a year ago. And I had, a little over a year ago, and I said, Bill, you need to get with the administration, Dr. McPhee, Ottman, them, and give you permission to, because I know you were concerned about doing it. And I was telling you in class, y'all do it. And what frustrates me with government is how long it takes to get something done. And I called Bill. I was like, hey, why don't you get with McPhee? Get permission where you could start shooting some little videos about, and you do, it's a little bit of our mental health. How do you decompress? Yeah. Like I was just talking to this young man. He lost his mom 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago? And that's trauma.
Yeah.
And he even admitted he went into a little bit of a state of depression. But I'm not saying every video is about mental health. I'm saying you have a couple of funny videos, and then you've got a video that throws a mix in there. Like, what do you do to decompress? Yeah. Everybody has to have an outlet. Some's working out, some's exercising, some's pets, some kids. One girl, I asked her at the Capitol, what do you do to decompress? She said, drink. And I'm like, we don't need to go there. But what was strange was that I'm telling Bill this, like, hey, we need to get the administration, give you permission. Because, you're a rock star. Let's face it, you're a rock star. You have more influence in all their marketing department combined.
I agree. I have been telling them, by the way, his name is Justin Todd, Justin
Todd.
If you're listening, I'm sorry, okay?
Todd.
But he knows I do forget names,
you got hundreds of students. Students.
This is my guy, okay? This is my man, right? This guy came and helped me every day, every week for 2 years and didn't get paid a single dollar. So, this guy is very,
But what
very
I'm
good.
saying is you take your classroom and you let the students know what you're going to do. Because you have some sweet students at Sweta, Nepal. Remember the little girl from Nepal? Sweet little
every
girl.
year I get like that.
Oh, brilliant girl. And those that don't want to be on camera, they can leave. And those that want to participate, and just open it up and just sit there and have real answers coming in, and then crop them up, because other students can relate. Here's where the coincidence come in, because I talk about improbable things. Bill called me within 15 minutes, and Bill said, Mike, you ain't gonna believe this. We had suicide. We had suicide this morning.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then we had the other suicide last year.
On campus. And I tell people all the time, that if you want to influence or want young people to think, you got to present in a form that they would listen to you. No use telling it on a TV program that they need to do. They're not listening there.
Yeah.
So be where they are. Then only they will listen to you. Tell it in a form that they are interested in listening to. So, and that's why I tell people, you know how to make a TikTok. And it doesn't always have to be one. You can make so many different kinds so that they can listen, think about it, tell them who they can call, where they can reach. They are not alone. Like those kind of things can be done very easily. But
and I'll do if the administration is listening, or I'm not trying to attack the administration. I do get upset with the status quo, with the hierarchy, because I think sometimes they don't get it. But then I do see good things, because like you told me in class, you said, hey, they've got a student activity day. Remember that? Mm-hmm. It was you that told me to go out there. I went out there and hung out, and I did see Dr. McPhee throwing cornhole, playing cornhole with the students. And I was telling Ottman, y'all need to get that on video, man. Mm-hmm. You need to make that relatable to these students.
Exactly. You know, you need to do things that students relate to. Your prime customer is an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Prime.
Yes.
Main. 80% of your customers are 18-year-olds. 20% are older, but they're 18-year-olds, you know.
Yeah.
And if you want to get their attention, do it in a form that they are interested in listening to.
Did you know, did I ever tell you about what happened in committee when I brought up, I was trying to explain that scenario about the suicide, and I was kind of explaining the idea. Remember, this is 15 people in finance, and somebody laughed, and I took it that they laughed about the suicide. Did you ever know what happened?
No.
I didn't drop the F-bomb. If Bart's listening, I didn't drop the F-bomb. I kind of did, but didn't. I just got really upset. I said, y'all think a blank suicide's funny?
Yeah, exactly.
And the news, Channel 5 did a story about it.
And
I just said, you know, we don't need to see another, and I used some expletives, suicide on our campus. But what really upset me was I didn't think other lawmakers were taking it seriously. They Channel 5 made a story about it, but they didn't do it to make me look bad. It really made the committee look terrible because they weren't listening.
Yeah, if you're laughing, that's.
But think of the trauma. How many students you think witnessed that suicide in the library?
I mean, it happened right in the middle of it. Did you
100?
see that?
Yeah.
I mean, so everybody who's in the library at least saw it that time. I mean, at least 100, at least, you know. And imagine when you're physically seeing it, you're studying and you look on the right and suddenly you see the person. Oh, I cannot imagine how traumatic.
Well, that would stay with somebody the rest of their life.
It has to. How can you forget something like
well,
this?
Well, I think one thing that I got to give MTSU some credit for, they have, I think they've done a good response, outreach to students about counseling, that sort of thing. But, you know, I put together 2 mental health conferences, one at Motlow, one at Parkway, and you participated.
Yeah.
And
at Motlow.
Motlow College, and shout out to Dr. Torrance and Gary Whittam for letting us use the facility over there. We're gonna do it again sometime. But to follow back up of you trying to do the TikToks on mental health. So all you need is McPhee to say, hey, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. All I want is a letter saying, hey, you are okay. You are not in trouble if you do that. Because, you know, my chairman doesn't feel very comfortable. He's afraid that somebody will come and fire me one day or something like that. Be careful and things. And I understand his point. So I just want somebody to send me an email. It's like, hey, I'm so-and-so, you are okay.
If Andrew's listening, you need permission.
Yeah,
Dr. Burns.
all I need is an email from them or a letter from them, and I can make bunch of them talking about their thing with students.
Roger, jump in here.
Well, mine's not so much as that. I didn't know how much time we had left. I was going to give a couple of quick shout-outs if we got time.
Yeah, go ahead. We got about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
Well, happy belated birthday to your son, Peyton.
Oh, yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
And my daughter-in-law, Summer Thomas, her birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday too. Okay, very nice.
Get that in there for
oh, you got it in time.
Well, if I know we're about out of time, but one thing about the Indian culture that really fascinates me, it's 22 official languages, 19,500 dialects,
crazy.
1.4 billion people. That's 1 out of every 6 people on Earth.
Yes.
Second most populous after China. And
not anymore. Actually more than China.
You surpassed?
It just crossed China like in last few months.
Wow. Well, folks want to find Dr. Raj on TikTok, search
DRRAJPROF.
Yes.
That's my handle. Otherwise, you just type marketing professor MTSU, you'll find.
Yes. And if Dr. McPhee's listening, Ottman's listening, Burns listening, Bill Kitchen listening, we need permission for him to talk about mental health. Thank y'all, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.